Justin Chamness here, realestatewholesalersclub.com, and today I want to talk to you about ugly houses. What do you need to know about ugly houses? What do your buyers look for inside an ugly house when they go look at your property deals? I'm going to explain it to you right now. We're going to talk about the Big Five. Stay tuned. Okay, and you're going to a home to do an inspection.
Yep.
Okay, let's talk about inspections. It's really simple formula here, and I want you to just remember, it's easy to remember the Big Five, okay? The Big Five. What are the Big Five? These are the five major systems of a house. Kind of like your body has a cardiovascular system, a respiratory system, a muscular system. Okay, so does a house. The roof. Okay, the roof is a major system. Okay, so you're going to want to find out the age, okay, and condition. All right.
HVAC.
All right, HVAC. All right, what does that mean? Please tell me what HVAC means.
Heating, ventilation, and air conditioning.
Yes. So this is the heater, the duct work, okay, and the AC. All right. What's the age again? Okay, again, it's the age and condition. What else are we looking at? The Big Five. We've got two.
Electrical.
The electrical. I'm gonna find the electrical panel, right? What kind of panel box is it? All right, you're right on the next one, but let's break down electrical here real quick. What's the electrical panel going to look like when I see it? It's going to be a few things maybe here. What will
100 amp, 200 amp.
Okay. Is it a fuse box? Okay. Do those still exist?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes they do. That means it needs to be replaced. Okay. We also have breaker boxes. Okay. Breaker panels, and they have, what is it? You were saying something about watts or amps. What was that?
100 amps or 200 amp.
Okay. You could have a 100 amp, or would you say 100 amp or 200 amp? Okay.
Yep.
Or 200 amp. Okay. Is that true? Do we have any electricians in the room? Okay. Is it also possible that we could find some
60.
40 amp boxes in there?
Yeah, or a 60.
Yeah, we might even find a 60 amp box. Okay. Now, what does that mean? Basically, in country boy terms, without being an electrician, and I'm not, it just means the larger the amp, the more load it can bear. Okay. All right. The more electric you can use up in that house at the same time. Okay. So if it's a small number, like a 40 amp box or a 60 amp box, how might I tell if this is a 40 amp or 60 amp versus a 100 amp or 200 amp?
Look at the main breaker, and it'll be on there.
Right, the main breaker. Okay, what about the main breaker will let me know?
It'll have 100 or 200 or 40. If you got a 40 or a 60,
yeah,
that shit needs to go in the trash.
It'll tell you. The main breaker will tell you what that main breaker allows to come to that box. It'll tell you the amount of amperage that it's allowing to come into the rest of the box.
Right. But what if I find a box that doesn't have a main breaker? It just has, the two rows of breakers, but there's no single breaker at the top that controls all of them. Have you ever seen a box like that?
Mm-mm.
I haven't. I've seen many of them. That right there is almost always a 40 amp or 30 amp or 60 amp or some kind of low amp deal.
Yeah. And a lot of times you can tell, I just had to have this done on the attic ventilation. It was, a lot of times it's the gauge of the wire.
Yes, exactly.
You can tell the capacity that wire is able to carry usually coincides with the,
Here's another thing. Are the electrical outlets the 3-prong or 2-prong?
All right.
Okay. See what I mean? If it's you're dealing with the old school stuff, and it all probably, if you're going to do a fix and flip kind of rehab job, you're going to want to replace it all with new things. Okay. that can be pretty pricey. Okay, let's talk about prices and stuff here in a minute. Foundation was the next thing I think Jason mentioned. Is the foundation a major system, one of the big five?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you better believe it. It holds everything up, right? If your foundation ain't there, ain't nothing there. Okay.
Especially, hey, Justin, real quick, especially, I have that house in Melbourne, Florida, and this is an example. There's several houses in that neighborhood all in a row. The foundation, they're all slabs, and several of them, not all of them, have had to. There's a crack that has developed all the way down the house from one end to the other, and they've had to have, I think between 30 and 50,000 to have a company come in and jack up and re-support that slab on those, so it can turn into a really big deal.
Yeah, there you go. It can. Absolutely. And there's many a guy and gal that make a fine living off of that. Foundation could be a foundation where it's a cinder block or something like that. It's raised up off the ground. Could be a basement even, or it could be what Jason was talking about, a slab. A slab is just a slab, concrete slab, and they put the house on it. That's it. Okay. There are, probably pluses and minuses to all three types. But when you're going to do an inspection, what do we need to look for? Someone please start out and tell me. He mentioned one right there, cracks. What else? Anything else? Just cracks? Is that all we need to look for?
How is it?
I'm sorry.
Moisture.
Say it again.
Moisture.
Yeah. What about moisture? Wet? What about mold? Okay.
Yeah.
What else? What else might we want to check about the foundation?
If it's just sagging,
How is it?
Bulging?
Yeah,
Bulging? What does bulging mean?
it's either swelling from side pressure or from it's starting to give way because something's giving out on it, either the joints or something like that.
Yeah. So you have a nice straight wall. That's what it's supposed to look like. Okay. Have you ever been in a basement and the wall, instead of looking that way, kind of had a bend to it? Let me see if I can do it this way. Instead of being
Yeah.
straight and nice, it had a bulge to it like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. That's an issue. That's an issue that needs to be fixed, but it can be fixed when it's bulged like that. Okay. When you see that warp in it like that, okay, that means the earth is pushing it some way or another. Okay. And the earth, given enough time, will push it completely over and the house will fall in on itself. Okay. Now, how do they fix that? Just real quick. I know we're not doing a big, inspection rehab special here, but real quick, how do they fix that?
They have to jack it up, and then in a lot of cases.
That's one option, and then they also will take like a 3x5 board or something, or something strong, and they'll screw that into the wall. That'll be on the outside, so they're pushing it in and holding it with big screws that go into the dirt behind the wall, and they try and push it back. I've seen one of those.
So pretty complicated shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Piers, steel beams sometimes can be installed that will hold a wall from moving any further. Okay. But if we're talking about just cracks, okay, if we're just talking about cracks, can be fixed with what usually?
That epoxy stuff, that
Yeah,
hydro, whatever it's called.
Yeah, that foundation putty and some dry lock. Yeah,
Right.
right. Steel beams might be needed. Okay. There might need to be, they might need to dig out the yard with a backhoe and put anchors in the yard and then pull the wall back straight and then anchor it in. It could get crazy. All right. But those things are all repairable. Okay. A lot of homeowners and investors included will not even consider a home that needs some of these repairs. I'm telling you what, you better grab them as a wholesaler, because there's buyers out there that would love to buy this. they'll buy this problem because they can get it cheap. Okay. What about moisture? We mentioned moisture up here. Let's talk about what's the fix for moisture usually, because basements and foundations have this issue.
The grading on the side.
Tiling.
Dry lock,
Yeah.
grading. Excellent answer.
French
Excellent answer.
French drains, sump pumps,
Yep.
vapor barriers.
Gutters.
Sump pumps. Okay. Sump pumps can oftentimes, little French drains. If you don't know what a French drain is, look it up. Okay. Grading. If you don't know what grading is, look it up. Okay. It's putting dirt up against the house or something to make the water run away from the house instead of down towards the basement. Okay. So all that stuff's repairable. All right. Let's talk about what's the fifth thing here in the big five. We got
Plumbing.
roof, HVAC, electrical, foundation. What's left?
Plumbing.
Plumbing. Let's talk about plumbing. What might we see? Lead pipes.
Pipes.
How do we know it's lead?
Galvanized. No?
We might not know by looking.
Okay.
Okay. Right. We might not know by looking. Lead is a soft metal. Okay. It looks a lot like galvanized to me. Okay. Sometimes it's hard to tell, but either way, if you think it's lead pipe or galvanized, I don't know if I spelled it right. What's galvanized? That's just that shiny metal.
It's a zinc
Yeah.
zinc coating to slow down the decay of metal.
Yeah. Yeah. Could be that. Could be that. What are the new homes built with?
Plastic.
Pex. Pex, ain't
Pex.
it?
Okay.
Yeah,
What do I
Kyle.
mean what do you mean by PEX?
It's a pressure resistant, long lasting plastic basically.
Plastic. Right. Is there a hot plastic and a cold plastic?
Yep.
Okay. One is one color and another one is another color?
Yep.
I think you got red. I think you got red and white.
And
Yeah, white
then
and blue.
yep. And then there's also when you take a dookie and you some of that runs through just regular old white PVC.
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take
Yeah.
a lookie.
Stuff like that, under the sink and whatnot. Okay. So that's plastic. So, when you go in a house and you see something that looks metal or black metal or dark metal or silver metal or something like, it's not currently up to date with today's, what people would do today. Okay. So in a fix and flip situation, you may want to replace that. Okay. So
Right.
let's talk about what might still remain after the big five. What's left in looking at an
Just the
inspection?
overall condition of the interior.
Right. Cosmetics, right. Inside and out. Okay.
Windows.
That includes windows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Windows are cosmetics. Why do I think windows are cosmetics? Somebody tell me.
Because those old single panes with the screens falling apart and stuff are just plain ugly, and most
Yeah.
of them don't work
Yeah.
right either.
Yeah.
Where they separated and they've got air and gas in between them and moisture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, I agree.
Yeah. But if I'm a fix and flipper and I'm smart, I'm gonna consider going in there and checking out the windows. And yeah, they're them old wooden windows, but man, they're still in pretty good shape and they look pretty decent. I can clean them up and paint them and make them look real nice. But I'm gonna buy new windows for the front of the house. So instead of buying 14 windows, I buy 3. Okay.
Right.
So just because you see old windows doesn't mean you're going to buy all new windows necessarily. That's my point. Okay. So you're going to look at the big five, then you're going to look at cosmetics inside and out. Cosmetics might also mean landscaping. Okay. What does cosmetics also mean? And what is the most expensive room in the house? Somebody tell me.
Kitchen.
How much does it cost to put a nice kitchen in?
15 to
7
20
grand.
grand.
At least 8,
Yeah.
right? Maybe 10, 12, up to 15, depends on the size of the house and how extravagant you want to go. what type of countertops you put in it. Okay. If this is a rental rehab, I'm not concerned with any of that. Right. I just want to get it up to livable standards, and then I want to put a rental sign on it. Okay. But if I'm going to fix and flip it, see, I got to make it look cherry because of all these damn TV shows. The Property Brothers ruined my life. No, it's not true. But they do make it look easy, and they do cherry those houses up. Okay. And the fix and flippers that are really professionals nowadays, they really cherry them up, and that shit's expensive, especially now. Okay. So cosmetics, that's not something that's a big five, but it's definitely important, but it will vary. Okay. The big five is the same, no matter if you're a fix and flipper or you're a landlord or you're going to live there. You want the big five to work, no matter who you are. But the cosmetics, it will be different for a fix and flipper versus a landlord. Okay. You might see a fix and flipper be willing to spend $45,000 in rehab costs to do this house because he's fix and flipping it. But a landlord, he might be willing to go in there and throw in 20. You see, there's a difference. The fix and flipper is going to put in quartz countertops or granite countertops. The rental for the rehab for the rental is going to be butcher block countertops. Okay. Something he can tear out of there and put something new in. All right. So this is why I always say you're never going to nail the figure exactly, Ed. Okay. You can go and inspect that house, and you can go through the big five, and you can put an estimate together, a rough estimate in your mind of what all that costs. And we can go through this just real quick now. But at the end, you're still going to be wrong. And the reason why is because your buyer, your end buyer, he knows what kind of cosmetic job he's going to want to do. You don't know him. You don't know what he's going to want to do yet. He may want to do a fix and flip. He may want to do a rental for a landlord type situation, or he may want to, do something in the middle or something. Who knows? Okay. So you're always going to be wrong. So your best guess is your best guess. All right. But this is how you make your best guess. You go through the big five, and then you kind of estimate. Maybe you even have two estimates, one for a fix and flipper cosmetics and one for a rental cosmetics. Maybe you advertise your deal that way. That's not a bad idea. Okay. So let's go through real quick before we wear this subject out too much, before I do. And let's talk about what this shit costs. Okay. What does it cost?
High. It's high.
What does a roof cost? Somebody tell me what's the average? We're talking, let's assume the house is bread and butter, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, 1,250 to 1,500 square feet. Let's figure that. Okay. Maybe it's got a basement in it. Okay. It's an unfinished basement. No, it's partially finished. Let's assume partially finished basement. Okay. Let's assume bread and butter, $250,000 price tag, ARV.
You said the roof? You said how much is the roof on it?
Yeah, just wild shot. What would a roof cost?
10 grand.
I was gonna say about 7 or 8. That's what I normally pay.
Okay. And this may depend on whether they got to scrape all the shingles off. Maybe they got to replace a board or two. It depends, but we're looking at somewhere approximately $10K. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say 10 because everything that went up, so it's most definitely gonna probably be around 10 now for sure.
Yeah. HVAC, what does that cost basically?
Shit, about
$7
grand.
In our bread and butter house, 1,250 to 1,500 square feet. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, about 7.
Okay. What about electrical panel? We
$2
got
grand.
to put a whole new panel in here because we got to upgrade from that 60 amp stuff. We got to upgrade over here to something like modern.
I've
1,500.
experienced 15 to 25.
That means they're going to have to rewire the whole house.
Yeah.
And how much is that?
No,
The
just
box. Are you
Yeah.
talking about just the box?
No, I'm
The
talking
whole-
about for the electrician to upgrade the electrical system in the house.
$5,000
Oh. Yeah.
$5,000.
thereabouts, maybe. Just a guess.
Yeah, it's going to be probably closer to 8 would be my guess, but let's split the difference and say 6,500. Okay. Okay. So that's what that is. What about foundation repairs? It's going to depend really, isn't it?
Yeah, a whole lot.
Big time.
Okay. So let's assume in this case we have a little bit of we have some cracks on several walls. You know, how many walls are there in a basement, by the way? This is a quiz.
Usually just 4,
Yeah.
unless they did some kind of divider,
Yeah.
some crazy thing down the middle. But yeah,
Yeah. Usually just
four main ones.
Yeah. Okay. So there might be some bulging and some some stuff like that going on here. Let's say we've got some bulging going on. What do you think that might cost us if we have to put steel beams in to hold the bulge back?
Yeah.
I mean, I would guess probably about 15 maybe.
Last time I did it, it was $450 per beam, and
Wow.
they needed to be placed 6 foot apart, going all the way around the basement. So we're looking at a few $1,000s here, right? Probably 5,000 or 6,000. You know, just because we have to get involved in doing something there. We're not even sure yet, because here's one thing I didn't point out. Okay, since we're talking about this, I hope this is interesting to everybody. Here's your basement wall. Okay. Right. We got 4 of these. They're nice walls here. 4 of these. That makes the square or the rectangle that the house sits on. Okay. So now we have these walls. We may have bulges, we may have cracks, we may have all kinds of things going on, pushing in, pushing out. All right. We know about that. But now what really holds the house up? Somebody tell me.
The beams.
Yeah.
Well, the beams
these 4 walls, right? The 4 walls of the basement, and then going across these 4 walls is what? She just said it.
Load bearing.
There's a main beam,
right.
and it runs the distance all the way across, and that keeps the house from falling in. Okay. Now, while you're down there, you might as well check not only the basement walls, but you might as well check the beam, because what may you see?
It might
Either
be bold.
yeah, and a
crack.
lot of them are like a couple of wooden 2x12s, but sometimes the main beam is steel.
Nowadays they put steel beams in. Yes.
Mhm.
Back in the day they used wood, and they would sometimes sister wood together and all this weird shit, right, to get one long enough to, okay, whatever the story may be. What happens to wood over time?
It deteriorates and rots and split
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah, if it gets wet,
What? Yeah.
it starts to rot. Okay. And in some of these basements, it's been wet. So that main beam is rotting, or it's decayed, or it's breaking down in some fashion. Okay. What does it cost to replace a beam? The main beam that holds the house up. Because if it's wood, it's okay. But if it's wood and it's going downhill, you can tell. And in some cases, the floors are wobbly like this shit. Okay. Like it's unlevel. Like you go in from the kitchen into the living room area and you start running towards the front door and shit. You know what I mean? That's what causes that.
The sag in the
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
joist.
Yes, something's given out.
Yeah.
Something that supports your floor is starting to give way.
It's either that beam or the joists, the floor joists connected to the beam. Something's given down and fallen down. Okay. That's what's happening. That is
Or-
also repairable.
Or it could be that liquor that you was drinking.
It could be. It could
A
be.
little bit of both.
You caught your toe on the threshold of the doorway, and you just.
Yeah.
Next time that happens, just open the front door and let his ass go out in the front yard. Okay.
Oh,
So that's a little bit of info about the foundation. Okay. The plumbing, how much does that cost? If we got to redo plumbing in that house, what's that going to cost? Just ballpark figures here.
on a 1,500 square foot, you said?
Yeah.
8 to 10 grand.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably 10K. Yeah. So look at this. We haven't even gotten into cosmetics. This house is still going to be uglier than hell by the time we're done. But it's going to have great bones. Okay. So let's add it up. 10K, 7K, that's 17 plus 6,500. Let's see here. Plus 6 for the foundation, plus 10 for the plumbing. We're already sitting at 39,500. Boy, it don't take long.
Mm-mm.
Now let's talk about cosmetics. We just said a kitchen costs $8,000. Okay, what does a bathroom cost?
About
4
4.
grand. Yeah. Something.
Okay, yeah, about $4,000. What might painting the interior? Okay, repairing drywall, painting the interior, trim and walls, and all that costs.
4 grand.
Yeah, about $3-4,000.
Mm.
Let's say that. Okay, what about flooring? We're going to have to put all new flooring in, either carpet or we're going to have to do hardwood or some of that laminate click lock stuff or something. How much does flooring cost?
Probably about another 8.
If you're putting in hardwoods, yeah. Yeah, if you're putting in nice flooring, yeah. But I might be able to get away with somewhere in this range, 5 to
About
6K.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what about okay, when I say 4K for this bathroom too, are we talking about a bathroom that looks like grandma's bathroom, or are we talking about a bathroom with a jet tub and all that,
Mhm.
tile and all that? Like when you're in it, you feel like you're taking a shit in the jungle. You know what I mean? Like it's just beautiful. There's rocks
Yeah.
and a waterfall, and you know what I
It
mean?
might not be that
Yeah.
high in there, but yeah.
So,
How much is a bidet?
hey, Justin, since you put it that way, the jungle thing and all that, God, I'm thinking 10 grand
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah. Okay.
You know?
And
Well,
there's 2 bathrooms.
That's a
No,
nice
eight,
bathroom,
eight,
but it
8
ain't.
to 10. 8 to 10.
Yeah.
okay, so you can get crazy with it, right? But I'm serious. What are the 2 rooms that sell the house?
The kitchen and
Kitchen
the
and
bathroom.
bathroom.
I tricked you. It's the kitchen and what else? It's not the
Master.
bathroom. The master bedroom closets.
No, I wouldn't have never thought about that.
Yeah, man. She needs to know that's a great kitchen where we can have our dinners as a family and socialize with friends and all this stuff, or he does. And then they need to know that when they're in their bedroom, they're comfortable and there's plenty of room for him to put his shit in there and her to put her stuff over there too. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm wrong. That's just what my experience tells me. Okay. The room might even be kind of small, but hey, it's got a his, her, and her closet set up. Okay. That's nice. Okay. So you want to look at some little things like this or what could be done here. Another thing you might look to see is, hey, this is a 2-bedroom. Could it be a 3-bedroom? Hey, this is a 3-bedroom. Could this be a 4-bedroom? And does that change the value? How much does that change the value? Okay, so if you're gonna dive into deep numbers like this and inspect a property, that's how I would recommend kind of going through it and getting a rough estimate to know what your buyers are going to look at. Because when your buyers go to look at a place, that's what they're looking at. Another thing I didn't share was cosmetics could be. What about siding? We didn't talk about painting the outside of the house, but that's cosmetics too, right? We might paint the outside of the house, or maybe we'll side the outside of the house. What might we see when we go look at siding on a house? What might we see?
So
What do you mean?
Sometimes the vinyl, if it's vinyl siding, sometimes it starts to buckle in places.
Sometimes it can be matched, right? Sometimes it's faded by the sun and it can't be matched. Okay. Meaning you could buy pieces and repair. Okay. What else might we see? Is there other types of siding that might be on a house when we go out and look at it?
The
Yeah.
wood siding that's rotted.
Wood siding. It could be wood siding, and oftentimes it's broken, chipped. Okay.
Mhm.
Asbestos siding.
Bingo. Asbestos siding. Okay. Right. The same applies to the ductwork inside the house in the HVAC system. What does your ductwork in your house or your apartment look like right now? What's it made out of? Somebody tell me.
Metal, sheet metal type.
Yeah, it's
stuff.
made out of sheet metal. But what's old school ductwork made out of?
Asbestos.
Asbestos.
Yeah.
Cancer
And you-
causing asbestos.
And you have to pay to have that. you have to pay to have that
Yes.
removed
Yes.
properly. Yeah.
So if you have asbestos siding, okay, and the question that probably popped in someone's mind is well, why in the world would they use asbestos? Ever?
It's old.
Why did they? Why did they use asbestos for a
it
while?
was a good insulator. And
and it's fire retardant, right?
right, that's right.
So it would keep your house safe because you're not going to burn so quickly. Okay.
Well, they probably didn't know that it was causing cancer back then either, because otherwise
Or-
they would have.
Yeah, probably not. Or if they did, they just didn't give a damn. Okay. I don't know. One or the other. But nowadays, asbestos is out. Okay. So you might have asbestos siding on there. You'll just have to check and see. Otherwise, it might be what is the metal siding? What do they call that?
Aluminum.
Aluminum siding. Okay. It could be vinyl siding. So all of those things you might want to consider. If I'm going to side that house, that 1,500 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, what is that going to cost me to side that house? Just curious. Anybody?
$4,000. I don't know.
Probably closer
I would
to,
say probably about 6 or 7.
yeah. And the same guys will offer to fix the windows for me while they're there. Okay. All right. I hope that was great for you. I hope it helped a little bit explain what your buyers are going to be looking for inside your property deals as you do your real estate wholesaling. You're going to come across ugly house deals. You're going to contract those. You're going to send buyers out there. They're going to go check out the Big Five. They're going to put some cosmetics in a deal. They're going to flip it, or they're going to use it as a rental. Anyway, we're here to help you do that at realestatewholesalerclub.com. Check us out. Again, I'm Justin, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.